Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and one of my favorite things to do is to mentor entrepreneurs, to take somebody who's got a big heart, a big mission, a big vision, and help them actually build that out so they can go from just having an idea, sitting on the couch, to going and having the impact that they know they're capable of having. So today I want to share a really special story for me from a guy named Aleks, who went from being a security guard to knowing that he wanted to spread more belonging in the world. And I invested it into him, and he's now running the largest salsa dancing school in Canada, maybe North America, but in Canada for sure, helping people learn how to dance salsa, but more importantly, making them feel like they have a place where they belong. Let's meet Aleks.
Originally, I wanted to be a marriage counselor. Since the age of 16, I wanted to be a marriage counselor. And when I got into university, second year in, I realized it's not for me. And around the time when I went into university, I started just dancing salsa at this very school, salsa level 1 student. And then I switched career paths and I started to train to be a cop. I did all my testing. I became a security guard to get the experience. And then about a year into me being a security guard, and I submitted my resume and all this stuff to be a police officer, I said, it's not for me. And it was a really, really scary place at that point because I have a bachelor's in psychology. I've been doing security work and I don't know what else to do now. Like, my resume doesn't really have anything. And at that point, just before I met Evan, I was at the school, at this point, being a volunteer, an assistant, and now training as an instructor, just part-time, because I wanted to give back, because I was just struggling my whole life, not feeling like I belong. And so after I switched jobs, I got into sales, and I really did not want to get into sales, but I needed to make money. I was moving in with my fiance, my ex-fiance, but I was moving in with her. I wanted to support my mother, so I needed to make some money. So I got into sales, and I was doing first outdoor sales, like debit machines, business to business, driving as far as Niagara, which some of you might not know, but it's just far. It's just far. It's like 90 to 110 miles, like distance, like I'd be driving. And I was just dancing here, and I was training to be an instructor. This was just a fun side gig. But I was at a point in my life just before I met Evan where the path I was going on was fine, but deep down, I always wanted to be a hero. I always wanted to help people. That's what I wanted to be a marriage counselor. That's why I wanted to be a police officer. And now I'm in sales and making money, good money. But I knew this wasn't where I was supposed to be. Right now I can say myself, believing in myself, believing I'm worthy of love. Since little, like, I didn't know until actually I met Evan, I didn't know that the thing I wanted most was to belong. I didn't even think of that word. And there was one movie that I loved watching, and that was Hercules, the Disney film. And I don't know why, every time I watched it, I'd cry. Later I found out why. But my biggest challenge was not believing in myself, that I'm worthy. And the funny thing was, I always wanted to just help people. Since little, I've always been the one to run into a fire to help people. And I just didn't have someone who was so much further along around me that could just believe in me more than I believe in myself. It was the most weirdest and awkwardest thing. So I really just wanted to be an instructor at this dance school part-time. You know, as a dancer, you can't really make a living full-time as a dancer unless you run your own school. So it's a part-time gig and everybody else has full-time jobs. So when I wanted to be a volunteer at this school, they said no because I was not a good dancer. When I wanted to be an assistant, they said no at this school. Not their fault, but because I was just a bad dancer. I was always the worst dancer. I started late. I started 23. And when I finally kind of just broke them and I said, I want to be an instructor. And they said, you may never be an instructor. We have all the instructors we need. You might not be an instructor for 2 years. And I said, I don't care, train me. And a month into my training, at this point, I'm just teaching 5 minutes of an hour class. And I'm being trained by the previous school owner. Amazing human being. She was my level 1 salsa instructor as well. And she calls me on Sunday and she says, hey, I injured my back and I can't continue to come in and teach this semester. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And we're talking and she says, I don't know if you know what that means, but we need a male instructor to come in and he needs a female assistant. And my heart just sank. At this point, I just started doing sales. I wasn't loving what I was doing, but I was making money. I bought a $1,100 car so I could drive to places. Had to borrow it from my mom. I didn't have the money. And this was the space where I could feel safe and I could build myself up and build other people up and help them feel like they belong. And so she said, I don't know how it's going to work out, but doesn't look good. And we hung up, and I remember just crying. Crying because the opportunity is taken away from me, and I can't do anything about it. Every step of the way of me being a volunteer and assistant instructor in the school, I said, I don't care if I have to do private lessons, whatever it takes, I'll do it. But I can't change my gender. So it was Sunday and Monday we're supposed to come in, and so I messaged the guy who's supposed to take over. And I say, hey, I don't know how I can support you, but why don't I come drive and pick you up and we get to know each other. But in my mind, like, my dream is dead. And I'm driving over, and I don't know if you've ever had this feeling of like you're going somewhere but you're getting further away from the thing you want. So I'm driving, and Evan comes out. At this point, I don't really know him. I've only had a couple interactions with him. He was my level 6 salsa instructor. So he comes in, shirt, I think he was wearing shorts, just totally relaxed. And he's really tall too. I'm 5'7", he's 6'4", and with the Toyota Echo, I had a 2001 Toyota Echo. It's a tiny car. He had to roll back the seat. He rolls back, and I'm just like, I'm hating myself, I'm hating this scenario, but I'm like, just make the best of it, whatever, it's okay. Just support. In the back, I remember there were 3 pages of notes. Because for every 5 minutes I would teach, I'd have a page double-sided of notes. And I would be so detailed that I would write like a joke. And I would go, if they don't laugh, say this. If they laugh, say this. Right? Like, if nobody reacts, move on. Right? Like, it'd be so detailed. And I'm driving and I'm seeing the rearview mirror of the notes and I'm like, I forgot to throw them out. So we're driving and the first thing he says is, listen, I don't really need to get better as an instructor. And when I heard that, in that moment of pain, all I heard was, is this guy rubbing it in? So I'm like, okay. And as I'm driving, I remember, I'm like, if I just go 10 degrees, I could hit the street right now. And then he says, so I don't need to get better instructor. Why don't we do this? You'll take over and teach all 3 hours. I know you're not ready. You're going to teach 3 hours. And every time you're going to play music and students are practicing, you're going to run into the back closet where I'll be hiding with a list of notes. And I'm just going to tell you all your mistakes, and I'm going to coach you, you're going to run out, and within 2-3 minutes, you got to go fix it. And I was just like, I will coach you like that. Is it a yes or a no? I remember driving, and it felt like an hour, but it was only like 3 seconds. And I was like, this is my chance. I'm not equipped for this. I'm not prepared for this. I don't have the skills for it. I don't have the skills as a dancer for it. I don't have the knowledge. And I remember squeezing the steering wheel so hard, my hands were turning white, blue, red, all the colors. And I said, yeah. And we started that journey. And it was the best decision of my life. From the moment that I started working with him, he just never gave up on me. All the times that I give up on myself, that the instructors at the school, they felt I wasn't right for this position. I didn't have leadership experience. I took over Canada's largest salsa dance school with over 12 instructors, over 60 volunteers, hundreds of students every week. And there's Aleks. From the moment I met him, I have never met a human being who just always gives more selflessly, constantly. He went to bat for my relationship. I remember one time I forgot my fiance's birthday, and he went, without me even asking, and bought a cake and hid it under my car. And then he messaged me, he's like, dude, there's a cake there, give it to your fiance. He helped me find my one word. I was with him as he was writing his first book. And I found myself. He mentored me, he coached me, he loved me, he was my friend and is my friend. He was my father, he's my mentor, he's so many things to me. One particular time I remember, so I started to change the school based on my own culture. What I wanted was to have storytelling be part of salsa classes and bachata classes. So at the end, we'd have a group of like 40, 50, 60 students huddled up, doctors and janitors, people from different backgrounds, different ages, walks of life, and we would huddle and I would share a story at the end of the class. And when I first started doing it, I was horrible at it. Students are quitting, instructors are complaining, it's just bad. And I remember getting this feedback from one of the students, and it crushed me because it said, I didn't come here to listen to a B-rated Tony Robbins. And I saw this, and I saw the fact that I'm just messing up everywhere, and I ran to him and I said, listen, you made a mistake giving me this school, you made a mistake believing in me. I'm not meant to be here, here's proof. Here's proof. And he said, no. And I said, what do you mean no? He said, no, you have two options. He said, accept that you're just not good at storytelling, accept that like this is something that's never really been done in a dance school environment, and you just have to get better as a speaker. And we're gonna lose students, and we may go down to one student and lose all the instructors. And he said, I'll support you. Or, and I said, or, I'll take or. He said, or, go just be a fun instructor. Go tap into who you naturally are, no stories, just go and be fun for one semester. So I said, I'll do option 2. So I stop my stories, and I just blow people away. I blow people away with my charm, my energy, and in one semester I have the highest scores of any instructor in the history of the school. Just destroy. I'm so good that students from other instructors in the school are coming to me. So after one semester we get the feedback, and he says, okay, here's you being a fun instructor, here's you learning to change lives and help people live their best life. Which one do you want? And I said, I'm scared. And he said, I know, but which one do you want? I said, I want to change lives. He's like, okay, let's do it. He just constantly kept believing in me. Overwhelmingly so. But I didn't believe in myself. And now more than ever, I feel like I belong in my own life, in my mission. Thanks to him. 3 lessons I learned from Evan. The first lesson is big decisions with your heart, small decisions with your head. If I look at going from marriage counselor to wanting to be a police officer to taking a chance on this school and believing in Evan and him believing in me, all that was just heart decisions. I just keep learning over and over in life, and this is the thing that he taught me, is that the biggest regret is when your heart makes an important decision and you wait. You wait, you make the list, you doubt yourself, and sometimes people can do it for 5 years and 10 years and 15 or 20 years to be at the place where they do belong. So big decisions with your heart, small decisions with your head. 2, when you see a diamond, even if you don't have room, even if they don't have the skills, pull them in, figure it out. Like, I was a super rough diamond. I have no, I asked Evan once, I'm like, why do you still coach me? And he said, because I have massive patience. And that's the thing. And that's the thing I apply when I pull in instructors and I train. I pull people in who are instructors from level 1, level 2. Because I always believe I can teach the dancing, but I can't teach the heart. I can't teach the light. I can't teach people to want to be a lighthouse. So when I see that light, when I see that spark, I immediately pull them in. And it's because he taught me that. It's because he saw that in me. So I continue that. And the third major thing, Aleks does difficult things. It's something he's been pushing into me with love. Every time I shy away, every time I try to run from a difficult conversation or a difficult problem, he would tell me, Alex does difficult things. That's your identity. And as I started to say it and believe it, those lifts, those difficult moments didn't feel like they were difficult, because my identity is, it's difficult, awesome, I do that. Let me go towards it. Yeah, those are the 3 lessons. Well, I'm standing in my studio right now. I've reshaped the whole studio, I've reshaped the whole culture, and as I'm recording this, we're in the pandemic, and this is a year into it, and we only survived because I pivoted and created these incredible virtual dance classes where we do through Zoom partner work, but where we still do the storytelling, where we focus on positivity. And it's thanks to him and everything he taught me, and he continues to invest into me, and I get to spend time with him, and he continues to guide me. What I accomplished is, as a dance school, where so many are closing right now, I was able to do the difficult thing of creating something that was never possible. And I'm really proud of it. And honestly, as we come out of the pandemic, we're gonna be thriving, not just surviving. Because this virtual model that I built is gonna now come in pair with students coming physically to class. I've always wanted to have my school in every part of the world, and because of the pandemic, I had this forced opportunity, in the best way possible, to create a beautiful virtual experience. And I'm just blessed and grateful for that. There's a lot more that I've accomplished. I found myself, I've helped people heal in classes. In my stories, when I shared them, because he believed in me, because I've worked on the craft, because he coached me in storytelling and so many other things. But just the constant belief. I've seen people cry in my classes. I've seen fathers rebuild relationships with their daughters after my classes. The list goes on. Yeah. Get the book Built to Serve, minimum, and go figure out your one word. That's it. As crazy as it is, like, my real thought leadership started when I figured out my one word, which was 7 years ago. Why? Because it's a compass. Since little, I've always picked movies and people unconsciously because I was starving for belonging. But when I figured out what I stand for, I got to apply it consciously. I get to now not be accidentally in the places where I'm supposed to be, but with intention. You want to build a business, you want to be a thought leader. When you know your inner heart compass, your one word, the lifting just gets easier. There's been so many moments where I'd wake up and I'd feel confused or empty, and all I would do is say, okay, I feel this way because I don't feel like I belong. I define belonging in these ways: seeking to understand, honest validation, and open arms. I'm like, what's missing? They're like, understanding. I feel like I'm not being understood. And I'm like, by who? And I just retrace it, and boom, within a couple minutes, I figure what the problem is instead of being confused and wasting so many days. And then I go and I address it. My one word is my greatest strength and also the greatest weakness. When I don't live in the right way, when I dishonor what belong means to me, I'm unhappy, I don't want to get out of bed, I'm eating bad food, I'm just not loving myself, and I'm not showing up as my best with the people I love. My one word is used to apply the people that I pull into my life. It's just a gut thing now. When I'm teaching a class, I'm sensing, and as soon as I sense that I like someone, I'm like, the answer is easy. This person makes others feel like they belong. This person needs to be in my school. This person needs to be an instructor. They have a light. Built to serve. Figure out your one word. Figure out your core values. And just spend time. I got lucky. I got lucky that I met Evan 7 years ago, and he pulled me in. And whatever way you can be around him, through a book, through a video, through mentorship in some way, your life will never be the same. Because it'll be so much better. Because what we all really need is believe in our life. And he embodies it.
Isn't Aleks amazing? It's hard to find somebody who's got more heart, more love, more desire to make people feel like they belong than Aleks. And that's why I fell in love with him too when I was first meeting him and wanted to invest in him as an entrepreneur. I love helping people like that. And I know that there's a piece of that inside you. And I may never be able to meet you. I may never be able to mentor you or coach you or guide you as much as I have Alex. So that's why I want to create programs and tools to reach more people so that even if we never meet, I can still help you get the thing that's in your heart, because I know you've got a big heart, and get that out into the world as well. I've created a training program called Movement Makers where I train people twice a month, deep dive training to help them do it. But I wanted to create a free version of that to help you get to where you need to go. So if you look below me, you'll see 4 different links where if you want to become an influencer, a speaker, a coach, or an author, I've taken some of my best training from Movement Makers. You'll get 3 free training videos from my Movement Makers program. Not all of them, because listen, it's a paid program. If you want to join and pay, you can get in, and I'll see you in the next Movement Makers. But otherwise, you get 3 free training videos to help give you the momentum that you need, the encouragement that you need, and the tools and the model to follow, so you can take the thing that you know is in your heart and start getting out into the world. So pick the track that is most relevant to you, and I'll see you in class.